Good evening. Here we go on a Monday, and we finally don't have a winless team in the NFL, and that we're going to be talking about a little bit later. Now, today we're going to talk about a couple different games from this week's slate of games on from Saturday. We're mainly going to be talking about the two Saturday games, and then that Jets-Rams game from yesterday, and then tomorrow I'm going to dive a little deeper into the games, more games that happened yesterday. Specifically like that Chiefs-Saints one, which was a good one, and a couple more. So we'll get to that tomorrow. But today we're going to get to those Saturday games and that Jets and Rams game. So are you ready to get your fix? Well, let's get started with the first game that took place on Saturday. The Buffalo Bills taking on the Denver Broncos. Now, not much really to say about this game other than the Bills dominated right from the start. Now, look, I don't think anyone thought the Broncos would end up winning this game simply because the Bills are very good, okay? And I mean, I have them at number one in this week's power rankings, so, at least I didn't think they were going to lose. Josh Allen, he was incredible in this game, okay, and flat out torched the Broncos defense. He went 28 for 40 with 359 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, and then he also ran the ball 3 times for 33 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. So, this dude is a scoring machine, okay? And against bad teams, it's almost too easy for him. He's starting to look like a legit franchise quarterback for the next 5 to 10 years. People had a lot of doubts on him coming into the league. But this is his second or third year now, and he's absolutely balling out, and he's going to continue to do so. So, 48-19 was the final score, and they had to finish out the season with the Patriots next week, which they should win. And then they finish the season with the Miami Dolphins, which is going to be a tougher game, being that they have a top 5 defense in the NFL and arguably, a top 15 team a top 15 team. So it's going to be a tougher game, but they still should walk away with a win in that one and finish the season at about 13-3 and then ready for the playoffs. Okay, this is a really, really good Bills team, but the one thing that I believe that's going to give them some, fits in the playoffs is their running game, okay, against the top defenses that can actually stop that run, So Devin Singletary, he can get the job done, but if that defensive front is weak, like I said, he's going to get his job done. But if you face like a Chase Young and, that Washington line, or you face what other team, like a Miami Dolphins, like they just, or like I just talked about being a little bit tougher, it's going to be tough, because they're going to be able to stop that run. You're only going to get about 50 to 80 yards rushing. And if you get more, kudos to you. But what else can you guys do? So we'll see what happens with that. Now let's switch gears to the Saturday, the last game that took place on Saturday, the Carolina Panthers taking on the Green Bay Packers. Again, I'm going to bring up what I talked about last week with the way Green Bay plays. This team is just so smooth, okay? Like, it doesn't even seem like they're trying to play a game, okay? It's more like practice. They start out giving you a little of everything, and whatever, starts to work the best, they stick with and add on top of that just to give the opposing team fits. And that's exactly what they did against the Panthers. They passed the ball just fine, with Rodgers going 20 for 29, 143 yards and a touchdown, but it wasn't the thing that was going to win them the ball game, okay? It rather just help them move the ball downfield, okay? And the run game was the actual way they were going to beat this team. Aaron Jones had a day, okay? On the ground, he had 145 yards and a touchdown. And to add that, Rodgers also had 26 yards and a touchdown of his own. Okay, they knew the run game was going to win them this game, and they did it easily, okay? Besides the Packers' inconsistency of stopping the run, they are the real deal. And they have, this year's, at least up to this point, MVP in Aaron Rodgers. So, we better start thinking about Green Bay possibly making the NFC Championship game once again and possibly breaking into the Super Bowl. So, I mean, the Panthers, they didn't do terrible in this game, but it was apparent that they have a weak defense, okay, with an offense that is having a hard time kind of finding the end zone. They do find the end zone at times, but it's a little tougher for them against, better teams. So, and you can also really tell, just like how the Saints earlier in this year were missing Michael Thomas, the Panthers are really missing having that dominating force of Christian McCaffrey in that backfield. He can run, he can catch, he can do it all. And you can just flat out tell that Carolina really misses him at this point. So Moving over to the New York Jets, who just got their first win of the season. Yep. First win, finally, against the Los Angeles Rams. Now, as good as it sounds, it actually isn't that good. Okay, with this win, it actually takes them out of getting that first pick in next year's draft, which means they might be out of that Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. Okay, they might just have to stick it out with Sam Darnold another year and, boost their defense and offense and get pieces here and there so that they can get a different quarterback, 2 years from now. But, they need a couple weapons, and they really wanted Trevor Lawrence, but now the Jacksonville Jaguars are looking, to take Trevor probably at that number one spot, depending on how the rest of the season goes, obviously. But, hey, they beat the Rams, and they're really good, and that's impressive, okay? That's really impressive. This was, not that good. Nothing about this game was good at all, okay? I mean, just a dumpster fire, type of game right from the start. Neither team really got the ball moving, and it was kind of boring. But it still made you want to watch because the Jets were going to pull it off, which could, make the next couple years really, really interesting, being that they might not, land Trevor Lawrence and, have to start to rebuild. It also proves my point when I said the other week that, the Rams, when they're good, they're good. But when they're bad, they're bad. And they were bad against the Jets, and they let the Jets beat them. Of course, the Jets are going to capitalize on something that, those small mistakes, they're going to capitalize on them, okay, because they're hungry for that win, and they got that win because you guys made too many mistakes. So, congrats to the New York Jets. Not really much I can say about it. This is your first win, okay, but, with not so good results being that you're out of that number one draft spot unless, Jacksonville happens to win another game and you guys lose out. So, kind of see where that goes. Well, that's going to end our discussion today, as tonight we got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, which should be a very good game. It's a division game. Bengals are going to lose. Steelers probably going to win. If the Steelers lose, we got another Rams-Jets situation on our hands, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow, and you just got your fix with the Wicks.